My name is Ethan Carter, and I never thought something as simple as borrowing a piece of clothing could change my life. To everyone else, I was the quiet 20-year-old college student who spent more time behind a computer screen than talking to people. Reserved, ordinary, safe. But under the surface, I carried a secret I barely admitted to myself. I wasn't a crossdresser by habit, not yet anyway. I wasn't bold enough to claim it as an identity. Instead, it was a quiet curiosity, something I buried in late-night thoughts and fleeting moments when I stared a little too long at my sister's closet. Her name was Sophie, 2 years older than me and effortlessly confident. Where I was quiet, she was loud. Where I avoided attention, she owned every room she walked into. She had the kind of beauty that stopped people in their tracks: long auburn hair, striking green eyes, and a fashion sense that turned heads. And hanging in her closet, between sequin tops and flowing dresses, was the skirt that started everything. A pleated, navy blue skirt that swished lightly when she walked. The kind that hugged the waist and flared out, playful and daring at the same time. I told myself I only noticed it because it reminded me of school uniforms I'd seen in movies. But deep down, I knew it was more. I wanted to know what it would feel like against my skin. Our home wasn't fancy. Just a modest 2-story house in a quiet neighborhood. My room was cluttered with books and computer parts, while Sophie's was a colorful explosion of fashion magazines, makeup kits, and racks of clothes. I'd been dating Emma for almost a year. She was smart, sharp-witted, and loved to tease me about my introverted ways. Emma was everything I thought I needed: grounding, practical, someone who pushed me out of my shell. But she also had an edge, a tendency to push boundaries in ways that sometimes left me breathless with anxiety. Like the time she dared me to wear one of her oversized sweaters to class. Or the time she painted my nails just to see how it looked. I laughed it off, told myself it was just her sense of humor. But each time, a part of me wondered if she sensed the truth I hadn't spoken. It happened one quiet Saturday. Sophie had gone out shopping with friends, and our parents were visiting relatives. The house was mine for the afternoon. I should have been working on my coding assignment. Instead, I found myself standing in the doorway of Sophie's room. The skirt hung on a hanger, casual yet impossible to ignore. My heart pounded as I stepped closer. Just one look, I told myself. Just curiosity. But curiosity had teeth. Before I knew it, I was slipping out of my jeans, my hands shaking as I pulled the skirt around my waist. The fabric whispered against my legs, soft and foreign. When I buttoned it and looked in the mirror, my breath caught. It fit. Not perfectly, but enough. Enough to transform the reflection staring back at me. I should have stopped there. But the thrill, the rush, was overwhelming. I borrowed one of Sophie's blouses, then hesitated, staring at the drawer where she kept her makeup. Minutes later, I was fumbling through mascara wands and lip gloss, clumsy and uncertain. The eyeliner smudged, the lipstick crooked, but when I stepped back, the effect startled me. I didn't see Ethan anymore. I saw someone else. Someone softer, freer. And in that fragile, trembling moment, I felt alive. But then, the sound of a door slamming. I froze. My mind screamed that Sophie was back, that she'd catch me standing there in her clothes, painted and exposed. My heart pounded so loud I could barely hear. I scrambled, tripping over the hem of the skirt as I tried to peel it off. My hands shook so badly, I smeared makeup across my cheek. But it wasn't Sophie. Just the neighbor's door slamming shut across the street. Still, the fear lingered. That was the danger of it, the tightrope I was walking. Every second I stayed dressed like this was a second closer to being caught. And yet, I couldn't bring myself to stop. That night, lying in bed, I couldn't erase the image from my mind. The reflection in the mirror. The way the skirt swirled around my legs. The strange mix of shame and exhilaration that refused to let me sleep. I told myself it was a one-time thing, that I'd forget about it. But part of me already knew the truth. This wasn't over. And the secret, my secret, was about to grow bigger than I ever imagined. The following week, I couldn't get the memory out of my head. The skirt, the blouse, The makeup smudged across my cheek. My reflection had seared itself into me like a secret brand. Every time Sophie walked past me in the hallway, laughing on the phone with her friends, I couldn't help staring. Not at her, but at what she wore. The way her clothes seemed alive on her, whispering possibilities I was too afraid to voice. And yet, temptation grew. One Thursday evening, Sophie left for her evening class, and the house was quiet again. I sat at my desk, textbook open, laptop glowing, pretending to study. But my eyes kept darting toward her bedroom door. The closet was there. The skirt was there. I knew it was dangerous, too risky to repeat what I'd done. But my hands moved almost on their own. My feet carried me across the hall. Minutes later, I was standing in front of the mirror again. This time, I didn't stop at the skirt. I slipped into one of Sophie's cardigans, then dug through her vanity for foundation. The powder smelled faintly of roses. I applied it clumsily, heart hammering, but when I smoothed it across my face, something inside me lit up. Each layer, each small addition, chipped away at Ethan and built someone new. Someone daring. Someone who looked a little too much like Sophie. It was terrifying. How easily I could blur the line between myself and my sister. My cheekbones looked sharper under her contour stick, my lips fuller under her gloss. The wig I found in a box under her bed, a leftover from some costume, sealed it. When I spun in front of the mirror, even I gasped. For a flicker of a moment, it wasn't me. It was Sophie. That realization hit me, with equal parts thrill and dread. If Sophie saw me like this, if anyone saw me like this, the thought sent adrenaline surging through me. And that's when I heard footsteps on the porch. I panicked. Sophie wasn't due back for hours. Had she forgotten something? The doorknob rattled. My pulse spiked as I lunged for the bathroom, skirt swishing around my thighs. I locked the door, pressed my back against it, and held my breath. Ethan? Sophie's voice. You home? My throat went dry. If she came upstairs, if she opened her bedroom door. But then, after a pause, I heard her again. Guess not. The front door clicked shut. Her footsteps faded. I slid to the floor, trembling. That was too close. Way too close. And yet, I couldn't shake the thought. I'd almost been caught. Why did that feel more exciting than terrifying? The next day, Emma noticed something. We were at a coffee shop, her eyes flicking over me as I stirred my drink. You look different, she said slowly. I froze. Different how? Her lips curved into a sly smile. I don't know. Like you're hiding something. My heart raced. Did she know? Had she guessed? I forced a laugh, shaking my head. Just tired, I guess. But Emma leaned closer, her voice dropping to a whisper. You're a terrible liar, Ethan. Her words sent a chill down my spine. That weekend, Emma and I were hanging out in her room, scrolling through TikTok. A video came up of two brothers swapping clothes with their sisters for laughs, dressed up like girls. Emma giggled. God, imagine if you did that. You and Sophie could practically pass as twins if you tried hard enough. I laughed nervously, but she wasn't joking. Her eyes sparkled with mischief. In fact, she sat up straighter, smirking. I bet you wouldn't last a day dressed as Sophie. You're too shy. The words hit me like a jolt. Too shy. I swallowed hard. What do I get if I win? Her grin widened. Bragging rights. And maybe a favor. She leaned close, whispering in my ear. But if you lose, you do whatever I say. No backing out. I should have said no. I should have laughed it off. But something reckless inside me answered first. Deal. That night, lying awake, I couldn't stop replaying her words. You and Sophie could practically pass as twins. She didn't know how close she already was to the truth. And now, I had agreed to her bet. What I didn't know was that Emma wasn't planning to keep it private. She had something far bigger in mind. The day of the bet arrived faster than I expected. Emma wasn't joking. She showed up at my house with a makeup bag slung over her shoulder and an almost sinister smile. You ready, twin sister? She teased, breezing past me and into the living room. My stomach dropped. Emma, wait. Sophie's here. Even better, she said, eyes gleaming. Let's see how long it takes her to notice. Emma dragged me upstairs into Sophie's room, as if she owned the place. She flipped through the closet, humming like she was planning a photo shoot. "This is perfect," she said, pulling out the navy blue skirt, the same one I'd already tried in secret. My pulse spiked. She paired it with a cream blouse and a thin cardigan. Classic Sophie look. "Now strip." My cheeks burned. "Emma?" "No excuses," she cut in. "A bet's a bet. Or, are you admitting you lost already?" I swallowed hard. She knew exactly how to corner me. Moments later, the skirt was hugging my waist, the blouse brushing against my arms. Emma stepped back, grinning like an artist admiring her canvas. "Not bad. But we need the full effect." She sat me down, snapping open her makeup kit. Foundation, eyeliner, mascara, her hands moved with practiced ease. I squirmed under her touch, but when she was finished and held up the mirror, I almost dropped it. It was Sophie. Not perfect, but scarily close. My cheekbones were sharper, my lips plump with gloss, my eyes alive with a shimmer of shadow. The resemblance was undeniable. "Holy shit," Emma whispered. "You could walk down the street and nobody would question it." I thought that was it. Just some fun, maybe a picture or two. But Emma wasn't done. She pulled out her phone. "Let's take this to the next level." "What do you mean?"
She smirked.
"Selfie time. Smile, sis." I panicked, grabbing her wrist.
"No, Emma.
"You can't post that." "Relax," she said, snapping anyway. "It's just for us." "Unless," she leaned closer, whispering, "you want me to make it public?" My throat went dry. She wouldn't. She couldn't. But the look in her eyes told me she could. That evening I thought I was safe. Sophie was curled up on the couch watching TV when I came downstairs in my normal clothes. But as soon as she glanced at me, something strange happened. She frowned. "Did you do something with your hair?" I froze.
"What? No."
Her eyes lingered, curious, almost suspicious.
"Weird."
"You just... I don't know. For a second you looked like me." I forced a laugh and slipped into the kitchen, heart pounding. Had she noticed? Had Emma told her? The paranoia gnawed at me. The next day, Emma dropped the bomb. "We're going out," she said matter-of-factly. My head snapped up. "Out where?" Out.
"Mall. Coffee."
"Maybe the park." "No way," I said immediately. "Someone will see me." "That's the point," Emma said with a wicked grin. "The bet wasn't about hiding in your room. It's about passing. And trust me, if you can pull this off in public, you win." My stomach flipped. Going outside dressed like Sophie? Around strangers? But Emma leaned close, her voice dropping into that dangerous tone I couldn't resist. "Or you can quit. Admit you're too scared. Tell me I was right all along." She knew I couldn't back down now. 2 hours later, I was walking through the crowded mall beside Emma, the skirt swishing against my thighs. Every step felt like fire under my skin. My heart raced, so fast I thought I'd collapse. And yet nobody stared. Nobody laughed. People brushed past me, without a second glance. Emma smirked, whispering, "Told you. You look perfect." For a fleeting moment, I felt powerful, like I was carrying a secret the world couldn't touch. But then, a voice behind me called out, "Sophie, is that you?" I froze. I turned slowly, dread curling in my stomach. Because standing there, smiling warmly, was Sophie's best friend, the one who knew her better than anyone else. And she was walking straight toward me. As I locked myself in my room, tears burning in my eyes, I thought it was all over. I had lost my masculinity, my identity, everything I thought made me who I was. But just then my phone buzzed. On the screen was a message from an unknown number. "Be ready tomorrow at midnight. What happened tonight was only the beginning. The real punishment is still waiting, my princess." I froze. Who was this? My stepmom? Or someone else? And the most terrifying question of all, what exactly was I being prepared for?